Hello, my name is Kevin and welcome to the Love Decanters channel. So today I'm going to talk about bludgeon decanters. So these decanters came into being from about 1845 to 1865, and they were produced as a reaction to a tax relief. So from about 1780s to 1845 there was a tax on glass at the mouth of the furnace by weight, okay, and by 1845 that tax was 300%. So when someone was blowing something and what came out of the furnace was what was weighed. If you cut the glass, basically everything you cut away was already taxed. You paid 3/4 of that value. You were just cutting it away to dust. So so before 1845 decanters, I wouldn't say they were on the thinner side, but they weren't massive and heavy. That wasn't a thing because glass was an expensive material, and you wouldn't cut big flat planes into glass, into bottles and decanters, because to do that, to create a flat plane on a curved surface, you need to have quite a thick surface which weighs a lot, and then you're going to cut away a lot of glass. So these bludgeon decanters are called bludgeon for a reason, because you could literally beat somebody with them, and they tend to be very heavy, and also a lot of them also had very big thick facets on them as well. Not all of them, but the common feature was that they were very heavy. And this kind of like went on for about 20 years, and then it kind of fell out of favor because it was a reaction to this tax thing where you couldn't do that, it was too expensive, and suddenly whoosh, we can do this, and it became a thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of book references to show you what kind of things they are, because Andy McConnell's book's got some really good references for this. And then I'm going to show you some of what I've got. I haven't got loads, but I'll just show you a few, just so you get an idea of what you're looking at and how diverse they are. And really, it's all about the weight that you're picking up. So here we go. So the first book I'm looking at here is The Decanter, An Illustrated History of Glass, from 1650 by Andy McConnell. And yeah, he talks about the end of excise here, excise I should say, because that's tax. He's talking about what goes on and costs and stuff like that. But here is some stuff that was produced in the period 1845 to 1850. Real chunky monkey type with lots of big flat cuts on them, etc. Decanters. So yeah, these will all be really heavy. And he's got one picture of one of them, and that's all in this section. So what I will do is I'll move on to the next book. So the book I'm showing you here is Andy McConnell's The Decanter, Ancient to Modern. And so what I'm going to show you something here is, so this is not a bludgeon decanter. If you look here, it's number 7. And number 7 is dated 1840 to 45, okay? And just note the base of the decanter and how thin that is. And I'm going to cut forward a few pages and show you what happens after 1845. So, cut forward a couple of pages, and so we've got number 8 here, which he's listed as 1860 to 80. And look at the base on that monkey. Look how thick that is. And some of these others would count as bludgeons, something like that, or that. Maybe these, depending on how heavy they are. It's all about how heavy things are, and not necessarily the absolute style of them. Here's some more. He counts these as bludgeons in the book. And as you can see, they look different from the ones that we were just looking at, but still they'll be very heavy. I was feeling frustrated because I knew in one of these two books there was a page full of bludgeon decanters, and I found it. So I'm back with the Decanter Illustrated History of Glass from 1650, and I found my page of Bludgeon Decanters, so you can see directly all the different shapes and sizes. I mean, this one's got a waist, there's one that's like a cylinder one, there's one that's like a shouldered one, another shouldered one. You can see with different, this is a bit like the one that we looked at in the other one. This one's with a flanged neck, another one with a flanged neck, but there's not one with a neck ring. You can see there's all sorts of things going on here with these decanters. They're not all of the same style. The common feature of them is that they're all very heavy. If you pick them up, they're super heavy. Usually they're quite often they've got big facet cuts in them because there was a lot of glass and you could cut away. So yeah, so let's now get on and have a look at the decanters. So these are the first two I'm showing you. I'm filming this from a mile away because they're so tall. I think they're about 14 inches tall, or at least the one on the left is. I'm showing you these two because they're actually, this style I think was made by a lot of people over quite a long period of time. And yeah, they're fairly similar, but there's lots of little variations. Let me show you these two one at a time because I'm miles away and I have to reach over and bring them back. Here we go. Here we go. Here's the first one. And you can see it's got this plain ring. And yep, nice tall Gothic stopper. It's fitted rough style. And look at the base. Look at the thickness of that base. Yeah, it does weigh a ton. And you often see them either like this with this V shape or with a cross with these little blibbles here. Yeah, so sometimes it's a cross, sometimes it's two of these, but usually it's got these two little blibbles. Let me go and get the other one and you can see the difference on that one. You can see the same really heavy base and different neck ring. Can you see how the ring has got these little bits on it here? But everything else is the same, just slightly different proportions and shape. The other thing that's the same is the base. Oh, I need to use two hands. This is what's known as a cartwheel base. So the hidden the pontle would be there right there in the middle. And they've just cut this cartwheel across the top of it. So yeah, if you see this is something that was done in the first half of the 1800s. Fell out of favour after that. Yeah, so maybe it was still going by the 1860s, but yeah, you don't see this on later decanters. So yeah, but generally not, I would say not earlier than the 1820s either. So there you go, there's the second one. So we'll move on. I'll show you some more. Thought I'd show you these two next. Yeah, completely different sizes. They're roughly the same shape, so I thought I'd show them together. Let me pull up the one on the right. So this one, yeah. What you can see is it's got deep facets cut into it. Look at how. And then the top is like these huge panels cut onto it. I mean, this is a big decanter. I mean, this is more probably a litre and a quarter. I don't think it's quite a, but yeah, and completely panel cut stopper. So you're cutting away to make that stopper quite a lot of glass. And the thing is, this class of decanter is usually very undervalued. I think I bought that one in an antique centre. I paid £12 for that. And if you think 1845 to 1865, yeah, that seems like a proper antique. So this is a small one. You wouldn't kill someone with this one, you just knock them out. But look at the cutting. So much glass is cut away to make this shape. And yep, if you think that's by weight, that's 3/4 the value of the material that they've cut away. Yes. Nice stopper though, with a little teardrop in the middle. And yeah, and this is completely right for it. This is the shape that they did. You can see that actually, proportionally, you look at the two of them with this shape here, and they're roughly about the same shape stopper as well. So yeah, those stoppers came with those decanters. So here's the next one I'm showing you, which initially appears on Mark 1, so you try to pick it up, and it's probably the heaviest decanter I've got. Yeah, and it's not so much of the cutting, it's just like the amount of glass in this. It's just mountains of glass in it. And yeah, you wouldn't have made this before the tax. It's just so much glass in there. And it probably, even though it's a big decanter, it probably only holds a bottle, I think, because the walls of the decanter are so heavy. And yeah, it is actually, you know, hard to tip. It's so heavy. And that's empty. I just had a quick thought after I stopped filming there, and I ran away to the kitchen and stuck it on the scales. And yeah, this decanter weighs almost 2.5 kilos. So that gives you an idea of how much glass there is there. So this is the last one I'm going to show you. I've saved the best to last. As far as bludgeon decanters go, if you were on a murder spree, this is the one to use. Look at this, I'll show you. Look at that. I mean, it's huge. And look at those cut facets. The stoppers built to match. Yeah, this is a monster decanter, and a good quality one as well, with the way the base is cut. Look at that. Yeah, but that must have been a job to cut that one. 2 neck rings, but even those have got huge facets cut into them. So yeah, let me, before my arm breaks off, put it down. There we go. And yeah, so those are all the decanters I'm going to show you for this class of decanter. So we'll go to the end. So there you go. So yeah, if you follow my out and about videos, you will see me mention bludgeon decanters from time to time, because they were made, you know, common for 20 years or so, and you do see them out randomly. Usually people think they're 20th century, but they're their own thing. They're usually pretty heavy, and yeah, they don't look quite like a 20th century decanter. So as far as references go, yeah, you really need to get one of the Andy McConnell books. I recommend the new one because he's still selling it, so it's actually at the normal retail price, because there isn't a lot of reference about them. There was a bit of snobbery around decanters, and at around the time I started collecting 30 years ago, people considered anything that was post 1830 to be vulgar and, you know, not de rigueur, etc., etc. So yeah, it is what it is. You know, anything that wasn't sort of like Georgian or Regency, yeah, people weren't interested, and times move on, and well, people are less interested overall now, but that's beside the point. I think times move on. I'm interested. It was something that I didn't know about because there was no references for it until I saw what was in the Andy McConnell books. So yeah, it is interesting because it's attached to a social event, and so where design, in fact, in a way they threw design away. They just went, we're just going to have a load of glass. We don't care what it looks like. And so yeah, from that point of view, yeah, it is a bit vulgar because they were just going, yeah, we're just going to make masses of glass in our decanters because it's cheap now. But it is attached to a social event, the removal of a tax, which is interesting to me anyway. But anyway, I will leave the names of the books in the description, and please like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and yeah, please watch again.